Hi, I'm Jay Westcoat with Alley Abstract. I'm a closing agent, and we're here to talk to you today about the closing process, what's involved. Initially, we receive from the realtors a contract along with an information sheet. We take that contract, we enter it into our computer system, and give it an internal file number. From there, we take the information that was given to us by the realtor and look over that information in regards to the contract itself. Once we determine what particulars there are involved with this particular closing, we then take the file and hand it over to our abstractors. That file also goes to one of two closers in Alley Abstract. The file itself then is looked over by the closing agent. Closing agent determines if there's a loan on the closing. If there is, we make contact with the lender to find out what the loan amount is, who the particular person is that we'll be dealing with regards to the bank. And then we pass that information on to the abstractors. The next process that we go through is determine whether or not we need to order a termite contract, give all that information to the termite companies, gather all information that the lenders might have as far as their fees are concerned, what particulars there are as far as inspections or surveys or any other parts of that contract, put them all together, and then present that file in the form of a closing statement and hand that off to the lender for their approval. Once we get approval from the lender, then we send that information to the realtors, who in turn give that information to their buyer or their seller. One of the key elements to a closer's job is to look at the commitment that we receive from the abstractors. That commitment will list a requirements page, which is Schedule B of the title commitment. On Schedule B, it will tell us what we need to do to give the buyer clear title to the property. In essence, there's always going to be a conveyance of title through the form of a warranty deed coming from the owner of the property to the buyer. There may be a mortgage document that we need to record if there's a lender involved. There's a possibility that one of the sellers may be deceased and that information has not been filed of record. That would mean we would need to gather a death certificate, have that filed at the time of closing. There may be additional liens out there that we need to take care of. Good possibility there could be a judgment against the seller. If that's the case, we need to find out who has that judgment and get the particulars on what it takes to pay off that judgment, so that again, we're giving clear title to that buyer. Sometimes there are occasions when both the buyer and the seller may not be able to make the closing physically at our location. If that's the case, then we would overnight their papers via UPS or Federal Express. Our preference basically is UPS because the costs are a standard cost of about $20 one way. FedEx we can do, but FedEx charges on the basis of weight. So sometimes those packages are very heavy, and therefore that $20 is not an accurate fee to charge. But as long as we have a physical address, as long as we have a telephone number, all that pertinent information, then we can get that delivery to that individual and still get it back in time to make the closing date. One of the things that we're asked is what forms of monies do we need to receive, or what can we receive? Basically, our title insurers, which would be the ultimate insurer like First American or Chicago Title or Arkansas Title, tell us that if we receive a bogus cashier's check, then we buy the property, because they will not insure our stupidity of having accepted a bogus check. So their suggestion to us, and which we follow through on, is that all funds outside a 30-mile radius of Mountain Home should be wired directly from the buyer's bank to our escrow account. And we supply that information to whomever we need to. We can accept a cashier's check or a bank check as long as it's from a local financial institution. Now, there are some here that are local that have branches throughout the state, and if we're dealing with a branch in Conway or we're dealing with a branch down in southern Arkansas, we can still accept their cashier's checks because of the locality of their branches here. We will accept a personal check for any amount under $500. State law requires us that anything above that, they have to be ready funds. Our ultimate would be to accept cash. And there is problems with the cash that anything over $10,000 has to be reported to the IRS. So basically, I would say that what we want to receive is a wire transfer. That way it's clean and we're notified that the money's there. There is no problems with us issuing checks then to the seller, and they ultimately can go straight to that bank and cash their check.